Check it out, people. It's Fresh Mark Sense, another fresh review, aka Zest for Life, telling you about fresh scents. Today I'm wearing a black t-shirt. Why is that? Because I'm gonna sweat it out in the gym. It's been a long time. I've been kind of lazy, just like you guys. Maybe you've been indoors a little bit too long and you want to refresh, energize. We talk about revitalizing scents. These are the scents that I use for sport. Now, I've already talked about the number one sports scent that I use. I would say for everybody, the most mass appealing, the most minty fresh with geranium and that natural aromatic sage note in the mid that uplifts it. The bergamot that's so sweet on the top note, and the amber wood that keeps you refreshed and sweet even after working out. So that is the number one for mass appealing fragrances. But I'm going to talk about a few more fragrances for sport because I think that this genre is sort of overdone with blue scents, and I want to reinvigorate you guys with some new fresh scents that would get you thinking and be right for your budget as well. So here are a few scents that are cheaper than YSL White Eau de Parfum on the whole, most of them, but they also deliver that refreshing burst that you need to re-energize you for sport. Let's get straight into it. After spraying on some White Eau de Parfum, already feeling energized, let's get into another citrusy fresh but a vetiver fragrance, Hugo Boss Reversed. Now this is actually spelt in the wrong direction, but it's spelt right in the reverse of the camera because the camera is reversed. It's actually spelt, well, actually I can't do it reversed, but it makes me look crazy because you can't actually see that in the camera. But anyway, so vetiver based keeps it very smooth and creamy, slightly sour and fresh. It has petitgrain in the middle, and it opens with some bergamot and a very zesty, fresh grapefruit. I'm going to spray this on because it's the candied aspect of this sweet grapefruit that is very refreshing and salty, refreshing, cooling, zingy, and fresh. So that is the opening of it. It's bergamot and creamy fresh, as I mentioned before, but it's the vetiver that keeps it sour and almost salty fresh in a green way with that petitgrain to make you smell great even after sweating, because the salt would mix with the green note, and the vetiver would be more sour than your original salt, hopefully. And if you do have quite a salty sweat, this would be more of a reinvigorating bergamot scent, and the vetiver would sort of meld with that. So vetiver and green notes make it sour, green, fresh, and really override any sort of perspiration smell. So this is a great one for the gym. Next, after Hugo Reversed, that is 100 ml for about £35. You can get it. It's usually half price, but the full price says £60, but I don't recommend it. I think you could find a discount if you look a little bit harder online. The next one is a fresh one from my tailoring days when I was on the machine and I was sewing, and it was very hot during the summer classes. I did I mean, I'm not going to say Cooper ball spray, but I definitely needed to refresh myself in all aspects because I was stressed to make things down in time, sewing them for the class, and a great standard as well, because if it wasn't done up to standard, we had to redo it. So this is a refreshing on-point fragrance that mixes aquatic notes with the sweetness of saffron and a little bit of amber mixed with aquatic notes to keep it invigoratingly fresh, but the sweetness keeps it, let's say, it keeps a concentration to the fragrance. It allows you to concentrate on the sweetness whilst being engulfed and encapsulated by the aquatic notes. It has a papyrus note, which is woody, bitter, and fresh, slightly leathery as well with the patchouli, and it also has some it has an incense note. That's it. So even if you are sweating, the contrast of the incense will sort of, it overrides from it. So here's the salty bitter odor of, say, perspiration, and to the side of that is that smoky incense that would distract you. It's almost like a distraction note, and once you're distracted with that note, you get into the sweet incensey notes, and the salty freshness of so the sweet saffron distracts you from that with the incense, and then you are overridden by the engulfing oceanic notes and the creamy violet that really finishes this off nicely with I think it has some ambroxan as well in it as well. So ambroxan and the woody notes of patchouli and smoky leathery notes of papyrus make this a very creamy soft perfume, but it also has a punch to it with that sweet saffron incensey side. So this distracts you from the smell of perspiration rather than mingling with it, yet it has its own fresh overtone which would really be smelt from quite far away with the silage, because it lasts for quite long, about 7 hours, and before you enter the space of someone who is perspiring, you will be engulfed by the cool, oceanic, creamy, and refreshing notes that are present in Versace Dylan Blue Eau de Parfum. Let me check that. Eau de Toilette, sorry. You gotta check yourself before you wreck yourself. And always mention your mistakes before somebody else highlights them. Next one, Rituals. This is Rituals Roy de Orient Eau de Parfum. I got this as a gift. This is very peppery, fresh. It has black pepper, white pepper to keep it citric, it punchy. It has some bergamot in the top note. It's not as creamy as I would like it, but it does allow the pepper to make its mark. Initially, when you spray this, you get the slightly pineapple-y citric white pepper with the punch of cinnamon like black pepper, and then there are some spices in here. I believe there is some cumin in here. It's a mixed oriental note of spices, so I believe it's cumin, because that's what makes my tongue tingle at the end of my mouth. That's why I slip the voice. So cumin and paprika, and that is mixed with the white pepper and black pepper. So it's a very spicy opening, and then the white musk is in the base to keep it cooling and fresh, and that almost bookends the fragrance with a creamy fresh bergamot and in the base the white musk. So that keeps the theme of a cooling musk in the base whilst having a punchy opening and mid of the black pepper, white pepper, and oriental notes of paprika and cumin in the mid. The next one is Versace Blue Jeans. If you haven't heard of this, you are probably living under a rock, because it is in every dispensary, Boots, Superdrug, that is drugstore, let's say, if you're American. And it is widely available, usually at half price, around £8 for 50ml. Very fresh galbandium and oceanic notes. I'm going to spray this one more time just to get the feel of it. Yes, it's the galbandium green herbal, slightly bitter freshness with the oceanic notes, and a vanilla base with musk as well, that keeps it very rounded. It has a slight note of lavender in it as well. I feel like I'm feeling a little bit of powdery lavender. So it has a powdery green oceanic freshness. So it's very simple, yet very well done. I almost sprayed that. Sorry. So very simple, yet very well done. Very cheap. Always smell fresh. with Versace blue jeans. Get it for summer and spring. You can't go wrong. And great for sport, as we are talking about right now. Diesel, sound of the brave. Pow, pow. This packs a punch with sweet green grass note. And it has some juniper branch in it too to keep it sour, fresh, and green. What I'm talking about when I say sour, fresh, and green is that the waxy, leafy nature of a leaf mixed with the sourness of a over-ripened juniper berry. Now that is similar to a over-ripened blueberry or a sour blueberry, let's say. So let's spray this. I'm going to spray this in a place I have not sprayed before. I'm using my leather jacket as a second skin because it is a great tester. If you're going out, by the way, and you are testing fragrances, it is a great idea to have a leather jacket because you can use it as a second skin for using all of your, or say, pulse points, but another textile fabric, let's say, of leather, because it does act as a real skin if it's real leather, which it is. So juniper, sweet green grass, and there is amberwood in the base. It's a very simple fragrance like the one before, but very well done with its green sweet freshness that is long lasting up to say 6 hours. Most citrus fragrances last between 5 to 7 hours because in their nature citric notes don't last as long as other perfumes. Moving on, talking about Bois de Yuzu, this is green, sour and fresh too, also like Hugo reversed, but this is slightly more classy and goes in a more woody direction. Bois de Yuzu by Karl Lagerfeld. I think this is a great perfume for gym because after gym, wearing this will give you a woody sophistication because this is more of a woody green fresh perfume, slightly more woody than the aforementioned Hugo reversed, but the woody notes give a slight masculine sophistication to this, whilst also being green and fresh with the bergamot on top. So a bookended fragrance with a fresh beginning and a fresh and woody natural finish. Definitely check out Karl Lagerfeld Bois de Vetiver if you want a light, creamy, woody finish. And my replacement for Versace Eros in the gym, if I don't want to splash out every time wearing this minty beauty, this is creamy, fresh with the bergamot, the ambroxan keeps it very soft, smooth with sandalwood and amber in the base and musk. The mint is very revitalizing and it's a continued theme because the ambroxan does not overpower it, yet it bolsters it with the contrast between mint and ambroxan. Done very nicely, perfectly. It's a modern classic Versace Eros. I can't say any more for it, but it is £77 for 200ml, which is a fantastic price. So definitely go out and get a 200ml if you can for this price, because that is the best price. Actually, I've got it cheapest. I've seen it even £56 for 200ml. And if you go out to the retail stores, you would find it at about £50 for 50ml. So there is a difference, and there is a reason why some of the high streets are receding. But I think that the high streets are coming up with more unusual perfumes that you may not have heard of, and that is definitely a worthwhile comeback. But for those who don't know, get to know Versace Eros. Yep. And the replacement for this that I use in the gym, which is also very minty and fresh, has similar creamy characteristics with some amber in the base, but also orange blossom and aldehydes to heighten the creamy feel a little bit, but more the mint and the zingy fresh appeal. Superman by Le Mail. This is Jean-Paul Gaultier's version of the Superman classic. Definitely check this out if you want something revitalizing, fresh, and minty throughout your workout. Superman will get you noticed in all the right ways because you'll be the freshest person projecting a mint and creamy sandalwood with aldehyde scent throughout whichever indoor gym you are going, because the ciliage on this is massive. And like all the male perfumes, that's what I buy it for. It has that great ciliage and the soft, smooth, blended notes of Jean Paul Gaultier. Don't miss it. Superman, you can find it for about £44 online. I got mine from eBay. It was a tester. I don't really care. The only thing that's missing is that little hook from the top. And to be honest, I find that kind of annoying. And I tried to keep that in a box, but I always end up losing it. So there you go. I would have lost it anyway. So, and I saved about £15 on the retail price because I got it for 44 rather than about 60 or 70 pounds. So moving on, we have Lacoste L'Homme Timeless. This is the more fresh and zingy version of the Lacoste L'Homme Intense that I gave away because it was kind of good for autumn rain weather, but it did remind me that it was always raining in Britain, and I was thinking, forget that. I want to imagine that I am in summer even when it is raining, because that is my kind of vibe. This zingy fresh bergamot opening is mixed with the same raspberry as the Lacoste Homme Intense. The contrast comes from the pepper in the mid. There is Akigala wood note, similar to, well, the same as Lacoste Homme Intense, but that is a synthetic note, which is a mix of patchouli and oud wood, which is their own synthetic mix called Akigala wood. It's a synthetic wood note, but this keeps it dry like bitter oud. It is fresh like sweet patchouli. That is bolstered by the sweetness of raspberry on the top, as mentioned before. And it has an ambroxan like sandalwood creamy freshness in the base. So all of these fragrances are a little bit creamy fresh or slightly salty or aquatic, because these are the scents that distract you from the salt smell of odor of perspiration, whilst also leaving you relaxed at the end of your workout. So definitely check this one out if you want something zingy fresh, but don't spray too much, otherwise you might distract yourself from the workout with the contrast of all the perfume going around, because this really projects quite far, but it doesn't last for too long. It's about 6 hours, which is okay for a citrus-based fragrance. I think the woods bolster the longevity of the fragrance to about 6 hours, but this is definitely one to check out if you want something refreshing and smooth at the same time. You can also wear this for summer days out. This is great in autumn if you want to brighten the autumn atmosphere, as I always like to do. This is brighter than the intense version. And I'd heavily recommend it really for the price. I got this for about £15, and this is how many mil? This is 50 mil. So I got £15 for 50 mil, which is a great price. That is from retail stores. So I did actually find this out from trying new perfumes at the retail store. So there are some good perfumes. If you really look in the retail section, what they're doing nowadays is they're having the popular ones like Versace Eros out on display, and then you'd have, if you look carefully, there are some niche perfumes and different variety selection that you can pick from that you may not otherwise have heard of. So definitely check out Lacoste L'Homme Timeless, because I believe it is actually quite aptly named Timeless. Next one is Dua Supernova Cologne. I love the freshness of this. This does remind me of autumn with its raspy vetiver leather note. It's a clone of Elysium, which is a very expensive perfume, about 300 whatever, something 350 something for 100 mil. This is actually £100 for 105 mil, which is very good value. But the raspy freshness of leather and vetiver is mixed with lavender and artemisia to keep it the opening is bitter, sour, green, herbaceous, with the artemisia, herbaceous in the way that it's almost acrid. It starts like it has a bitter, sour note about it, and that is bolstered by the vetiver, which is more grassy and slightly leathery. Um, there is some lavender in here, but that is not overriding the green freshness of it. It's sort of softening it and making it more powdery and musky, with a heavy ambroxan and musk note in the base. This is cool, calming, autumnal, and slightly damp with the wet, woody notes of oak moss and patchouli in the base. This is a high quality perfume. I believe it's an upscale version of white eau de parfum because it has that herbaceous character, yet it is slightly smoother and much stronger, longer lasting. I wouldn't really wear this for the gym every day. I would just wear this if I really want to be reinvigorated and I was feeling almost sleepy, let's say, because I was just lazing around and I wanted something to remind me of directly just jumping outside into an autumnal woody forest setting where you get the green trees, you get the slightly wet mud and almost earthiness that is reminiscent of the leather in here, and you get the grassy long green grass of vetiver, which is in here, but it reminds me of long shrubs, as if you're walking in that woody, the forest, with that slightly damp, wet soil earth. So this definitely reminds me of going outside, but it's a more autumnal feel, yet the raspiness of the vetiver with the leather is masculine enough to sort of punch you awake with the green freshness that is on top. Definitely check out Dua Supernova Cologne if you want something refreshing and clean. And the final one, when I want to smell smooth and also awaken myself with the mineral notes of this perfume, Mancera Black Gold. Now, you may think that this is only for formal wear because of the title, Black Gold, like a black tie event or something, or the gold standard, but it's not really as intimidating as it sounds. It's not so heavy. It's very light daytime scent, which is aquatic, has some citruses on top. There is a oud note in here, which is bitter, fresh, and bitter, fresh, slightly dry. But that dryness is definitely compensated for in the aquatic notes and the soft powdery nature of lavender. So the mix of lavender, orange blossom, and citruses gives it a reminiscent note of D&G, the one eau de parfum, with the orange blossom note in here, because it has a slight peppery dry down that is reminiscent of the aquatic, no, reminiscent of the aromatic ginger in Dolce Gabbana Eau de Parfum, yet that is emulated in the freshness of citrus notes and aquatic notes in Black Gold by Mancera. So this starts off quite citrus, fresh, bright. It has a peppery note and a dry oud woody note to give some contrast. The aquatic notes stop it from being overly dry, and then the powdery lavender comes in to give a soft touch, blending into the violet in the mid, and then you get some dry woody notes and musk in the base. These woody notes are patchouli and the continuing essence of oud that is throughout this perfume. So there's a dry, fresh, creamy, soft brightness about this perfume that I really enjoy, and I find it refreshing. Let me just smell one more time. I'm going to smell it one more time. Right on the wrist here. Sweet, green, fresh, creamy, masculine, slightly pungent with the civet leather at the base and the black pepper on the top. Nothing more could be said, but this perfume is invigorating and soft. Definitely check out Black Gold by Mancera. Now that is my full refreshing selection. And before I overwork myself and get cold before I work out, I'm spraying on some Superman, because that is my number one for the price that I suggest all of you should check out. This is a sweet perfume that will be great for going out as well, when you want to get attention for all of your Le Male perfume fans who really enjoy that cardamom. This would be a refreshing minty break for that. A Jean Paul Gaultier Superman. Check it out. Stay free and stay fresh.